Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets because as you can see before you on our screen, Bitcoin has finally gotten above the long-term downtrend that we've been looking at for some time here on the channel that has been affecting and holding itself above the Bitcoin market for many months. Now, Bitcoin hasn't really had a major response to this yet, depending on how you draw the trend line. Bitcoin either is or is not above this downtrend, but the fact of the matter remains that Bitcoin has moved quite a bit over the last couple of hours, and I do believe that this is the start of something major, and we're going to be discussing exactly what that is in today's video. We're also going to be looking at a couple of altcoin charts because on Ethereum and EOS, we're seeing the exact same thing happen. We're seeing Ethereum attempt to break out of its consolidation pattern, and we're also seeing EOS attempt to break out of its consolidation pattern. I do believe the next 48 hours is going to be very significant for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market, and that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is that Bitcoin is indeed in a consolidation pattern. We've been looking at this for quite some time. We see this downtrend right here that Bitcoin is currently under, this downtrend right here. And we also see this uptrend right here that Bitcoin is currently getting support on. And now this is a very good example of a consolidation pattern, but one thing you have to keep in mind is that we're not necessarily above this downtrend just yet. Now, the way I plot this on my chart, we are, but there are definitely people out there doing their technical analysis and trading based on a downtrend that's just a little bit slightly higher where we're not above it yet. So we're not definitely out of the woods yet, but I do think we're going to be in the next couple of hours, and that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. Also, apologies for the video being up late. I wanted to wait and record this video hoping that I could catch a breakout and actually cover that, but it looks like Bitcoin is going to be moving a bit slowly, so we'll go ahead and cover what we have to cover right now. Let's go ahead and get onto the crypto market recap, because like I said, I do think things are about to start picking up, and we see that in the volume. Bitcoin's daily volume is hovering around $3.7 billion, up from where I believe it was around $3.3 billion in yesterday's video. Go and click on the video on the top right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we were up at around $3.3 billion, but nevertheless, Bitcoin's volume has definitely been increasing. We've seen that very clearly here on the 4 hour. We see a couple of bigger green candlesticks come in here on the 4 hour, and on the daily chart we see the volume start to pick up just a little bit. It's still pretty low because the day is young, but I do think that we're going to see a bigger volume day coming into the rest of the day. And that's one thing that we wanted to talk about as well, is that as this has been constricting and as Bitcoin has been coiling in here in this consolidation pattern, we've seen volume taper off, we've seen volume start to decline, and that's exactly what you'd like to see when entering a consolidation pattern and before a major breakout, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing in a little while. Anyway, continuing on with the crypto market recap, what we see here if we sort by exchange over the last 24 about 5 altcoins that are in the double-digit green. Overall, the cryptocurrency market is doing rather well today. We certainly see a lot more green than we do red. We don't even see a single cryptocurrency down by over 5%. And also an interesting thing is that if we sort by market capitalization here as well, we see Ethereum's doing pretty well, up around $230. We'll be getting to Ethereum and EOS in just a little bit if we have time, but right now, the majority of the top 10 cryptocurrencies are up around 3 to 5%, which is definitely a good thing considering how low the volatility has been lately. A lot of times you have to take into account what the actual percentage movement is in comparison to previous and recent movements. 3 to 5% may not have been a big movement in, say, November or December of 2017, but as for the last couple of weeks, that's actually a rather significant movement, and especially on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and EOS, which I'll be showing you in a second, those are significant movements, not only just because they moved a little bit, but also for technical reasons. With that out of the way, I do believe that's everything we wanted to cover. Ethereum's volume's doing all right, hovering around 1.5. That's still a little bit lower than normal, but overall, the altcoin market is definitely looking rather healthy, so long as we can continue the trend that we've started to build here over the last couple of hours. With that in mind, let's go ahead and get on to Bitcoin, because this is the major one that we have to talk about today. Like I said earlier, Bitcoin is sitting above this uptrend of support, a very strong, well-defined uptrend of support. We have several levels of support down here. We have a touch right here, right there, right there, right there, and then we didn't even need to come all the way back down to it this time, and right now we are trying to get above this level of resistance. Now, the market is moving very quickly, and this video will take probably about 2 hours to upload, so I'm recording this at 9:14 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. That's what the time it is right now when I'm talking. This will probably be going live around 11 or 12, so go ahead and check your chart. Unfortunately, I can't upload the video any faster, guys, but the fact of the matter is Bitcoin is moving very quickly. If we come on here to the 5-minute, what we saw is that Bitcoin was up here trying to get a really major breakout above 6750, trying to get up to that level of $6,800 that we've been looking at for quite some time now. And it looks like over the last couple of minutes, it started to pull back. So this is very potentially a failed breakout. That's not really a big deal. That's not unhealthy really at all, to be honest. We've seen that happen several times here. We've seen several failed breakouts, one of the most notable being right here above this downtrend, and that's really not the end of the world if we don't get back up above there. We have a couple of different possibilities that we can see if Bitcoin does continue going down like I think it will and like you're seeing it do a little bit right now. One thing that we could potentially do is come down to this level of support, this downtrend, and try and get support there, as we're doing as I'm speaking actually, and also potentially we could come straight back down here, try to get support on $6,600, or hell, even we could go all the way down to this uptrend and then break through. Nothing is really out of the cards right now, guys, but at the end of the day, I do think that no matter what Bitcoin does in the short term, we are going to be seeing a bullish break above this downtrend. We've already compromised it because we've gotten above it once, actually twice if you count this wick over here. It has been compromised, and one thing you also have to keep in mind is that you have to keep in mind where the market is actually trading. We're not trading around this uptrend of support, this longer term uptrend. Let's turn volume off. We're not trading around this longer term uptrend right now. We haven't been trading around it for quite some time. We're actually trading around the level of resistance, and like we've talked about many times on the channel, and like I talked about specifically in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, link in the description, when you trade around a level a lot, and when you tend to actually have the market stay around a level, be it a level of support or resistance, the likelihood increases that you're actually going to break that level. That's why we say after a market has come down to a level of support or up to a level of resistance over 3 times, you have to be very careful about that level of resistance, because why has the market gone up there so many times? It looks like it may be about to break it. And we've been trading around this downtrend for quite some time now. We've been testing it a lot in the last couple of days, and I do think that we're going to break it, not only for technical reasons, but also for fundamental reasons. I've been explaining why I believe that's going to happen in several other videos. I'll go ahead and link one in the top right if you're interested in my take on that. But it does look like in the next couple of days, we're going to be seeing a proper bullish break above this level of resistance. Like I said, very well may not be happening right now. We have a very tall wick right here on the 4-hour. It doesn't mean that we're breaking out right now, but I do think it's coming, because this level of support that is our uptrend and our downtrend of resistance cross right over here in just a couple of days. Depending on how you draw this, they cross in between about the 10th and the 18th of October. You can draw this a little bit steeper like that, and they cross right about here. But the fact of the matter remains is that Bitcoin is coming to the end of this consolidation pattern, and very, very rarely will you see a market just straight up trade straight through a level of consolidation pattern and just do something like this. You're definitely, not definitely, but 99% likely to not see something like that happen. I think I've seen a market do that once, but it normally doesn't happen. Normally, you're going to see some kind of a major breakout, especially not only because Bitcoin is consolidating and coiling in and building a lot of tension and looking for a breakout, but also because several of the other altcoins are. Let's go ahead and look at Ethereum real quick. Ethereum, like I talked about in yesterday's video, you can watch that video on the top right, is currently in a consolidation pattern. If we come in here to the if we come in here to the hourly chart, that's not the weekly chart, then what we see is Ethereum is in this very long-term consolidation pattern. Not very long-term, but kind of longer than what you typically see. It's about the same length as Bitcoin's actually. We see this consolidation pattern where Ethereum came down, went up, came down, went up, came down, went up, had a downtrend, had a little rally, and right now we've come to the climax of this consolidation pattern, and in the next 48 hours, Ethereum is going to have to break this. It's going to break it in one direction or the other, and right now, because we've had a little fake out breakout to the north, to the northerly side above the level of resistance, it looks like that's the direction that the bulls and the whales are going to be pushing the market. It looks like the bulls are in control. Does that mean that Ethereum cannot come back down below this level of support? Absolutely not, guys. It's very possible. I don't think that's what's likely, because not only are we seeing Bitcoin have a test of its level of resistance and look like it's breaking bullish, we're seeing Ethereum do the same thing. Ethereum is the number 2 altcoin, controlling $24 billion in market capitalization, and we're also seeing EOS do the exact same thing. As I talked about in a couple of videos ago, it wasn't the main point of the video, but at the end of another video, I talked about why I was looking at EOS and why I've actually made a trade on this one about this consolidation pattern on EOS, because EOS, in the same way as Bitcoin and Ethereum, currently finds itself in this consolidation pattern where we have a downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, and now we're looking like we're going to be breaking it. EOS, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are all very deep into consolidation pattern territory. When you get deep into consolidation pattern territory, like we've talked about, you have to be careful, because the whales can come in and manipulate the market and force the market to go one direction or the other by simply putting a massive buy or sell order in. But at the time being, all 3 of these markets look like they're breaking bullish, and if they have not actually properly broken bullish and they just haven't had the momentum pull through yet, they're at least having fake out breakouts to the north, which will end up giving a lot of bullish sentiment to the bulls and giving a lot of confidence to the bulls and kind of converting a lot of the bears, I think, because a lot of these markets are looking very, very bullish right now. One thing I also want to talk about is with these 3 markets, even though we've seen kind of this little fake breakout, it doesn't look like they're actually going to be coming to fruition, these breakouts, just yet. By the time this video goes live, we very well may be trading far north of where I'm recording right now. Of course, I can't see into the future just yet, unfortunately. Bitcoin very well may be up here at $6,800, or we could be down here at $6,500. But the point is, one thing I want to touch on is that we've seen these breakouts, and we have seen actual hourly and 4-hourly candlesticks close above these levels of resistance on many of these charts, but we haven't seen a lot of follow-through just yet. And I want to touch on that because I know there are people in the comment section that are going to say, well, Jeb, we've seen these breaks of these downtrends of resistance. Why haven't we mooned yet? Where's the actual price action? Where's the volume coming in? Well, I do want to touch on that. Right now, it's 9:20 in the morning on the eastern coast of America. That means most of the west coast of America has not even woken up yet. That's what, 60 million people live in the Western time zone, in the Pacific time zone. That's a lot of people that haven't woken up yet. Asia is in the wee hours of the night. A lot of the world is not really awake just yet, and a lot of the world hasn't even gotten started trading just yet. It's 9:20 in the morning. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of people are probably just getting out of bed if they're a professional trader. I don't think many people that are professional traders stay up, get up at 6 a.m. in the morning. I imagine a lot of them sleep in. I imagine that a lot of the West and parts of Asia are still asleep right now, and we don't see a lot of the volume coming through. And I imagine a lot of people just haven't even noticed that this has happened just yet, because this is a very recent development happening in just the last 2 hours or so. So I do think we are going to see some more follow through on this as the day progresses, and I do think we are going to see some kind of northerly movement. Like I said, it's very possible this is a fake breakout and we pull back down to levels of support and try again tomorrow. But at the end of the day, this is a very bullish development for Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space. We've needed some kind of catalyst for some northerly movement coming. We don't even really need to move that far for Bitcoin to start looking very, very bullish. If Bitcoin can break this level of resistance and go up to targets around $7,400 up here, and also the daily, the 200 daily simple moving average, if we bring that up right here, we don't really have that far to go. As you can see, the 200 daily simple moving average is right here. The 100 daily simple moving average, which would be very bullish to get above, is sitting right up here around $6,800. $6,800 if we get above that. That's also a very important level of support to get, or excuse me, resistance to get above. These are all very powerful levels of resistance that if we get above, will bring a lot more confidence back into the market and make the bulls feel a lot safer and a lot stronger. And we're not really that far away from them. I do think breaking a downtrend this significant on Bitcoin will mean that we're going to see enough bullish action coming in the next couple of days that we're going to get above some of these levels of resistance. If we don't, and if we break this level of resistance like we have and we don't see major follow through, that is a very big point in favor of the bears, guys. Remember that, because if we see such a major event as breaking a downtrend that has been in effect for the last 10 months and we don't see a major breakout, then that probably gives us an idea that the bears are much stronger than we think they are. I don't think that's likely though. Anyway, guys, I wanted to give a little bit of a market update and talk about where I think Bitcoin is going and talk about this breakout that we're seeing happening live before our eyes in this video. Tell me in the comments section down below what you think Bitcoin is going to be doing from here. There are a lot of people that think Bitcoin is going lower. There are a lot of people that think we're going to be getting resistance at this level. I beg to differ. If you're one of those guys, tell me in the comments section down below. I'm more than happy to look at the comments, and I read them every single day, of course, and consider your arguments, because I think there's definitely a valid case for the bearish side. I just don't think it's most likely. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.